Yeah. But that's not the only big news, mate. Back onto our regular hobby horse, All In. And apparently the pre-sale sign-ups, which we said at last shout was 25,000, well, at this stage, we're looking at 45,000, according to Dave Meltzer. That was on the 13th, so yesterday, on there.
That's
we've
insane.
got 45,000 on there as well. I think he said, like, and he goes into it on the Observer newsletter as well about the idea about the amount of sign-ups that Clash in the Castle had and how many tickets for that. However, the ticket prices are true. The thing that put people off for Clash of the Castle is it was so fucking expensive. And the lowering of the prices only happened afterwards. Here, I think there is, and this is where you get into the idea of enough people going, hang on a minute, £30 or $37.20, as he says in the Observer for that. Absolutely massive. On there as well,
45,000. Like that's like, if that's the number, then we're done, aren't we? That's enough. Like that. If we stop, it's not as simple as Meltzer will make it out. All 45,000 of them people aren't going to buy one ticket. They're probably going to buy two. But also, 45,000 people is going to include some duplicates where, say, me and you were going together, JP. I might be in that 45,000. You might be. But only one of us is buying two tickets. So it's not one for one. It's not an exact science. But if that was the number, this is a success. I mean, it was a success of 30, to be honest. But that's an overwhelming success already with nothing announced, with nothing coming. If that ends up being it, like, that's monster. Like, that is insane.
Or what platform it's going to be seen on. No one knows at this point. It very clearly isn't a pay-per-view. They would have said that now at this stage. They were very quick to say that with, like, Forbidden Door on here. I mean, part of the reason that... Sorry.
I was going to say, I hope he doesn't WWE it now and be like, well, got 45,000 in anyway, don't need to try now. No. And it's QT Marshall in the main event.
And dare I say it, like that. New Japan and Noah did it for that first show and it sold out. And they went, well, what's the kind of laziest card we can kind of book from that point on there? I mean, part of the reason that we were always saying Craven Cottage on there as well about why that wasn't there. And it's logistics. I don't know if you've ever been to the ground. I mean, I've been to it before, been to it a couple of times. You can see there, obviously, it's on the River Thames. You can't get in from that entrance. You're getting in on like a very kind of residential side, which must be used to it. Yeah, it is. It's very, very similar to that, like where you really are like on people's doorsteps and the like as well. It's also the idea that Wembley has a retractable roof. This obviously doesn't on here as well. So if it does rain, not beyond the realms of possibility on there. But you're talking about lighting, staging, sound. Football doesn't have, it's not going to have blaring music and stuff like that, which, like, you're basically holding what is going to be akin to a concert for people who know nothing about wrestling, who live in that greater area there as well. Wants to do it at some stage, but also wants it to be cost effective, because I imagine once all that was figured in, apparently he's paid, what, 400,000 for the use of Wembley for this. You know, at this stage, you're looking at 45,000. You know, if that's the number that you're going to end up having, then, you know, include your staging costs and the rest, you're already kind of in the black at that stage.
I enjoy the fact that in that Fulham story, like Tony has said, he, you know, despite the logistical reasons, still wants to run, still wants to find a way one day to do it, because of course he does. You know, there is that, but I kind of get it. And to be honest, Fulham wouldn't have, you know, if it was possible, Fulham wouldn't have sold it. Now we know 45,000 was possible.
Yeah.
I think. So it would have been a mistake, and I wouldn't have backed that horse. I would have backed the Fulham horse. But I think what we found out is that by running Wembley, it's baked in, isn't it? Like the publicity behind it's baked in. The fact that this is an event, it is baked in, that everyone feels like they need to be at. And yeah, it's like it's already looking like a major success, JP. It's like people are out there, you know, acting like it's going to be a failure if they don't sell the place out. No, it's a win if it's 45,000. It's a win if it's 30,000. Don't agree with it, as Will says there, Dave. It's a win if it's 15,000. But like anywhere in the range of these numbers we're looking at, it's not just a win; it's a gigantic win. And it's this. I think we're like we've been saying, the litmus test on what AEW is in this country and how big the fan base is. I'm being surprised every day by it. You've obviously been more bullish from the start, but it's more evidence on your side. And how long are we? What, 3 more weeks before the pre-sale actually happens? These are just sign-ups to to be notified when the tickets go on sale. Like, Jesus Christ, like, we're going to be talking. We're absolutely going to be talking crazy numbers. It's going to be one of the biggest shows of all time.
Well,
Like, we know that now.
This is the thing that their attendance record is 20,177 at Arthur Ashe on here.
Arthur Ashe, yeah.
If we
didn't
go
really
to
talk Arthur Ashe when we talk like AEW attendances like that. That probably should have made us more bullish because that's just New York, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I know New York's massive. I think just New York. Don't come after me, New Yorkers. But you know what I mean? Like, those are relatively special shows, but they were dynamites at the end of the day, weren't they? They did those numbers.
there were. But how many people are flying in? Whereas this one
Yeah.
feels like there is very much a global perspective. And this is when I talked at the time about this on the first time we were speaking about it on the weekend show last week, of saying actually there's a snowball effect here. People know now that this is going to be like a proper spectacle. It's not going to be embarrassing. It's not going to be 10,000 people in Wembley Stadium or anything like that. We have to darken out the whole stadium. Be a properly big crowd. 25,000. How many people then went, actually, shit, I need to get on this pre-sale list because it looks like it might be going. Then it's to 45,000. How many people then in the next couple of weeks will start going, shit, I do need to get on this just in case. And then before you know it, you're up to 60,000. If you can do, like, I am, the kind of numbers I'm talking, like, I'm thinking day one. Again, I'm being really, but like, I am out, I think they're clearing 55 day one. I think possibly 60. Like, the figure I had in mind that they could get is 75. If we look at, Dave Meltzer does this today, look at the historical comparisons on here. It's like he says about 42,000 would be beating any number that WCW ever did. That was Georgia Dome, Hogan versus Goldberg. The paid for Clash at the Castle was 53,999 on there. 79,127 is the Wembley number for SummerSlam 92.
And that's legit, isn't it?
That's the legit number on there. And then the biggest one, like for what you'd consider paid wrestling, excluding North Korea, because it's not like that wasn't drawing a fucking $20 million game, wasn't it? It's just like, whatever money I'm going to watch Scott Norton look pissed off in the middle of a ring in silence. But the biggest one is 80,709. You go when the TV partners get involved. Like, I keep on thinking ITV are actually going to be a big part of this. I have a feeling it's going to be live on ITV over here because they're being given a kind of like a spectacular. They've got enough TV stations as well to go to. So, like, yeah, I'm going, but I'm going to say that. I'm going to say I reckon they're doing 60K day one. And then I think at that point people go, shit. And it's partly because when they get through, they'll go, I can afford those cheaper ones. It's how bad the scalpers are. That's the other.
But even then, like, how bad's the scalping going to be in a show that we think's going to do really well? But that's a lot of tickets. Like, I don't know. There's always, if I'm a scalper and I don't follow this closely, surely you think, well, there's always going to be tickets available. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you don't realize that as a scalper. I just think, it's the difference, isn't it? Like, when this is my experience of scalping, when you go to a gig and it's not sold out, you can get a ticket off the scalper for $5, but when it's sold out, it's 50 quid. Like, it's not a scalper's market till it sells out, is it? So that'd be a bold play to trust this is going to be the sellouts, but
to be able to announce this is legitimately the largest paid attendance for wrestling. That's a thing that they should be going for. Is 80,000 plus. That's really what they want to be going for. And then you think, like, as we've spoken about as well, the optics and everything else that comes into it. But imagine how much that will piss off Vince and everything else. The way that AEW have quite well, given everything that's gone on with WWE in the last couple of weeks, have kind of stolen that news cycle back.
Yeah.
Whether in the punk in one way for the backstage kind of drama, but also at the same time with AEW Wembley, which feels much more like that bigger and bigger show as well. And then I actually think this will end up having a positive effect for All Out. Because I think there's going to be, all right, there's some crazy shit going on. This company.
They're going to be right in the middle of the news cycle.
Yeah.
The hot ticket on both sides of the ocean. Like, you can sell that massively, can't you? And that's the thing. I think this is becoming more and more of, like, it's a destination weekend. We saw today in Rev Pro's Q&A, them saying that they're going to be running the Saturday. I think we could all expect that. They've definitely said there'll definitely be a show on the Saturday. Could run all weekend, couldn't they? Like, there's going to be loads going on. Progress have got their show already set up on the Sunday. I think the sky's the limit even for a Rev Pro. You know what I mean? Yes, they could run a bog standard Rev Pro show, but you could you could sell a lot of tickets to Rev Pro on Saturday. Like, if you know, AEW are in town with what's now looking like upwards of 60 to 70, 80, whatever the crazy number is in on the Sunday. You can absolutely tempt people to get in early on the Friday or the Saturday. To be honest, once it sells out, I think the biggest worry for like a Rev Pro is going to be, does the con go, okay, now we've sold out, you know, tickets are gone. Okay, yeah, I can announce ROH on the Friday, or I can announce ROH on the Saturday, or I can do Rampage in the UK and take advantage of the whole thing. Like, the sky's going to be the limit on this weekend. It's just, yeah, it's really all coming together as like the biggest wrestling weekend of the year.
It is. It's the thing that British wrestling needs generally, is that shot in the arm. It's how well, I mean, we've seen with some of the kind of blow ups with various other kind of promotions and stuff. There's still the various, you know, drama that they love alongside it. But if people get their ducks into a row, they need to, like, there's a chance of drawing what would be their biggest attendances. So if you are going to run Your Call, and this is a big point, Rev Pro, their next Your Call show, new security.
I did see that in the Q&A, yeah.
Now, like, that's new security. I'm hoping that means better. That's all.
Better bar too. They've been saying. They've been telling books. Yeah. They've had conversations with the venue. Like I know what, it's a meme that we're constantly moaning about, like the Rev Pro bar and the Rev Pro security. But it felt like after that last show you went to, the pressure was higher than ever. Like, it wasn't just me piling on the security on Twitter when they tried to take a victory lap of how well that went. Like, everyone had sort of bad stories, and it sounds like, you know, this has finally been a thing to break it.
Yeah.
It sounds positive, doesn't it? That, yeah, that next Your Call show, I don't think I'll make to in July, because GPW's anniversary show is on the 9th of July as well. But yeah, sounds like new security, better bar. That's a win for Rev Pro. And yeah, I think, speaking of anniversaries, they did say, you know, All In would also be on their anniversary as well. So, you know, there's that too. They're in a mass 11 years to the day, and that they became Rev Pro. So, you know, celebrations all around, mate. Sounds like you know, rising tide lifts all ships. That's what you like to see.
It is. It is what you like to. I mean, it's the venues that get involved for this. There are some venues within London as well. Like, I'm not expecting like
no Rescal anymore, is that not possible anymore for smaller companies?
Rescal's gone. 229 is really what has replaced that. But then Eve have been running the signature breweries, I think, as well. You know, there are other venues in and around
that's
London.
A good venue, yeah.
You know, like, and you're just hoping that you know, there are, you know, Wembley can only really be used by, say, Ring of Honor. I think that's the only other Wembley Arena that is the only place that Ring of Honor could be there. And if Rev Pro are running on the Saturday, run it on the Friday. Like, you don't need to necessarily, like, don't go in there with the attitude like these fucking people are glomming off it. If you make this a festival feel, people will come. It's Fields of Dreams stuff. Sorry to go back to kind of massive cliches and the like, but it's very, very true. If you build it, they will come. If you provide enough of these shows, there are enough people coming to London as well. I can see in the chat as well, like the hell of Ticketmaster and thing mentioned on there as well, about like the kind of resale stuff. But you know, it's going to be interesting. Like, there's a good chance that this becomes like, hang on a minute, we've got a real destination event, like, for this happening, and then it will encourage them to do it again. So every time they come over to the UK, it becomes like a massive feel each and every time for them.